Explain a little bit about where you are in the process of luring George Lucas to plant his museum in the Windy City.
Sure thing. Thanks, Pim, for having me. Effectively, so far, about a week ago, a little bit more, the City of Chicago presented its recommendation to George Lucas, and just yesterday, the City of San Francisco presented their recommendation and their proposal. And now the ball's in his court. He's going to take some part of the summer to consider both proposals carefully and then make a decision.
Now, Kurt, you've worked on the Navy Pier in Chicago, also the 2016 Olympic bid. What have you learned from both of those challenges that you can apply to trying to get George Lucas to put his museum in Chicago?
You know, Chicago is an interesting place. We are one of the most American of American cities, and we've done a great job of luring major gifts to our lakefront, luring major gifts to improving the fabric and especially cultural fabric of Chicago. One of the things that we learned in the Olympic bid process is the uniqueness of having a city like Chicago, the size of Chicago, the industry and the cultural elements of the city on a lake with in the middle of the country, accessible by the world. That was very compelling for us as we became the U.S.'s bid for the IOC. It's also been compelling as we've gotten major gifts. You know, where we're talking about locating the Lucas Museum is on our museum campus, right in the middle of the city, on the lakefront. This is a campus that has major gifts from people like Marshall Field and John Shedd and the Adler Planetarium. Consistent with that would be the Lucas Museum.
Do you think that George Lucas has already made a decision, or is he just waiting to get back to you? Because have you heard any dialogue, any questions or follow-up?
Well, we presented our proposal to him and his team last week. We were thanked for the proposal, know that he's taking it very seriously, and that he was waiting on the proposal from San Francisco yesterday. And I think this is a very serious process. You know, I've been in the process of a national competition and an international competition before. Feels very, very familiar, and this is very real. I would expect that there may be some follow-up questions or site visits or things that we need to clarify, and we stand ready to do so.
Are there things that you can offer or would like to offer coming from Chicago that are not matchable by the city of San Francisco?
You know, as I understand our site versus what's been proposed, if you think about where we're locating, proposing to locate the museum campus, which is connected to one of the world's foremost natural history museums, planetariums, and aquariums, and is accessible to such a large group of people. So we have 2.5 million people that are accessible to that museum within a 60-minute commute, 650,000 people within a 30-minute commute. That kind of accessibility, that kind of connectivity on our lakefront to a host of other major national and international cultural institutions, I think is tough to compete with. So, you know, if I had one message to consider, it's to consider whether or not that could be replicated elsewhere, and I really don't think you can find that anywhere but Chicago.
Kurt, last point. Do you have a favorite Star Wars movie?
You know, the original. I got to go back to Star Wars. That's where we discovered this great vision of a different future and a different world, and that's why we're all excited about this opportunity.